Hello everyone, I just want to go over activities 1.2 and 1.3, the check yourself activities. So you should have actually gone through the notes and then gone through these activities, and it's nothing more than maybe making some notes, answering the questions, or even mentally just making sure that you know or understand the material. So activity 1.2, it says list three of the basic functions of formalized law within a society. And you can find that right here. So law is, number one, a set of established rules of conduct. Number two, it serves to minimize or reduce possible conflicts. And number three, it settles conflict when it does arise. So a mechanism to settle conflict when it does arise. So this explains it a little bit further. So it's a set of pre-existing impartial rules. It protects individual rights or freedoms. It protects society by serving as a framework for defining what orderly conduct actually is. A mechanism for the legitimacy of the actions of the state. So what that means is if you're looking at the state as an institution like the country or the province, so this legitimizes the actions of the state. So when they have to do something like police, it's members, for instance. Mechanism for defining and protecting private property, so that also is covered or a primary function of law, and a mechanism for allocating power within society, so that's important to understand as well. So exactly who is in power and how is that defined and how is that passed on in a peaceful and orderly manner. So what is formalized law a primary avenue of? Basically to remedy injustice. That's the primary avenue of law, to remedy injustice. But the key here is in a peaceful and orderly manner. Okay, so in Canada, the Constitution empowers the federal government to make laws for the peace, order, and good government of Canada. So that's the primary avenue for formalized law. All right, so that's activity 1.2. Again, I don't expect these to be handed in, but you should make notes and check your own work. So think about how this applies to your school, and that's what activity 1.3 is. So there's a couple of questions here. It says formalized law serves to minimize or reduce possible conflicts. That's one of the primary functions of law. Explain how some of your school rules and policies minimize conflicts. So for instance, just take, for example, maybe a indoor shoes policy. So you can imagine that if you did not have an indoor shoes policy, that there might be conflicts arising with people bringing in muddy shoes and conflicts with caretakers, teachers, and so on. So that would be one of the formalized school rules aimed at reducing conflicts. And there would be probably dozens of examples of that, everything from putting your hand up in class to answer a question, that would minimize conflicts, to specific school rules around fighting and roughhousing and so on. So you could think of those, like I said, many of those types of answers. Formalized law serves as a protection for individual rights and freedoms. This is number 2. What individual rights and freedoms are protected by school rules in your school? So for example, you have a right to peaceful assembly. So there are, I'm sure, are rules in your school that allow for peaceful existence in classes, and people that are disruptive or making it difficult to learn are probably dealt with in a way that is upfront and transparent. So that would be the same way as a reflection of our legal system as well. You have a right to personal safety in schools, so I'm sure there are school rules again that deal with that, such as policies or rules banning weapons or anything that might be considered dangerous. So your individual rights are protected that way through some of the school rules. And again, you could probably think of dozens of those types of examples. So if you are thinking that way, and if that was going through your mind or in the notes that you were making, then you're on the right track. That's activity 1.2 and 1.3. Again, that is on the functions of law. So good luck on the quiz.